It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country, so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened on yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because the Assad is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
I see in the next few months a noisy country, a very noisy country, rowdy country, a heavily divided country, a very tough economy, a sense of elitism by those who are coming at the hem of authority. The coming in of the Unity Party is going to multiply the economic woes, the economic conundrum, the economic quagmire, the suffering of the Liberian people is going to multiply. We are not prophets of doom, but the reality will come.
Mr. President, recently we witnessed the demolition of the CDC headquarters in Comot Town, which was carried out through a court order. How does the administration ensure that such enforcement action are done fairly and without political interference?
The law is the law. It's not the government. It's the government implementation of the law. The police were ordered to do it, and they did it. If that demolition is removal of the people from premises that don't belong to them according to the law.
Why will George Weah, who is tempted by Joseph Boakai, who was drowning in his Egypt land, who was dead, very red up, dirty, stink, you could find him passing around, practically dead and useless. Why will such a man conduct make you wear vex that you will struck the work and then lose God's own mission to take you to the promised land? That was the test of time today for George Weah. If George Weah had reacted, you are falling in the place of Moses.
The Liberian National Police commends the Congress for Democratic Change for the discipline, calm, and statesmanship demonstrated during the recent eviction process. Your respect for the rule of law, despite the deep sentimental value and history attached to the property, reflects a maturity that strengthens Liberia's democracy. This movement is not only a testament to CDC's leadership, but also a reminder to all political institutions and citizens that our democracy grows stronger when lawful decisions are honored peacefully.
Today, you have a rebel police director who thinks that he has arrived. And the worst thing about all these people, they all benefited from the magnanimity of George Weah. Ranging from people on the bench of the Supreme Court, they got letters from George Weah. If some of them choose to pay him back with evil, it's up to them. The very Gregory Coma today, he worked in the previous administration when Weah came. He also got another letter again. If he chooses to do what he's doing, it's up to him. But one thing I can tell you for sure, This is how we are always been molded. That's how God has already molded we are and catapult him into success. He will suffer rejection, denigration, humiliation. That has been his life. How can you make somebody who has been down the line their shame? The person has gone through shame. They have gone through disgrace. They have done everything they cared. Whatever people thought and were laughing at them, they surmount everything and catapult themselves into becoming someone who is towering that the whole world can look at today. What more can you do? You think you're bringing that person down? You're just hurting yourself. In fact, what you are doing, you are destroying yourself. You know what it takes for you to proud in yourself of being bad? When people are looking for good image, you are happy in becoming a bad person. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. He would never, ever.
There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so he can, the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. But I can tell you, there's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so he can, the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so he can, the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so he can, the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so he can, the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. But I can tell you, this is a bad example.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong, and no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their side is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much
important. His Excellency, George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
We are this day and will always be. God is faithful. He's good. He is loving, never reneging on his promises, no, but fulfilling every word that he uttered in the fullness of his time for our benefit. He is the great God, good God. Thank you that we are together this afternoon. Let's get to some of the developments unfolding out of Liberia as quickly as we can. Then we focus on development here. South Sudan and Somalia are the most corrupt countries globally, according to the 2025 Corruption Perception Index released by Transparency International. Other African countries in the global top 5 most corrupt list include Libya, Eritrea, and Sudan. On the positive side, Seychelles leads Africa as the least corrupt, followed by Cape Verde, Botswana, and Rwanda. Transparency International warned that corruption remains a major global threat driven by weak political will, declining democratic institutions, and poor governance. The 2025 CPI assessed 182 countries worldwide. No African country made it to the global top 10 corruption-free nations, a list dominated largely by European countries. The United States has added 18 Nigerians to its deportation list, raising the total number to 97. According to the United States Department of Homeland Security, the action follows a nationwide enforcement operation by Immigration and Customs Enforcement targeting immigrants convicted of serious crimes under its worst of the worst program. Authorities say the alleged offenses include wire fraud, mail fraud, and identity theft, with deportations to be carried out immediately in line with the United States immigration laws. Kenya says it will talk to Russia over growing reports that its citizens are being recruited to fight in the war in Ukraine. Speaking to the BBC, Foreign Minister Masalia Mudavadi called the practice unacceptable and clandestine and said Nairobi had shut down illegal recruiters and would urge Moscow to sign a deal banning the conscription of Kenyan soldiers. The Kenyan government estimates that around 200 of its nationals have been recruited to fight for Russia. The exact number remains unclear, as Nairobi maintains that none of them travel through official channels. And Pan-African College and women leaders have been speaking out, condemning violence. Ugandan leading opposition Bobby Wine's wife, and other activists, human rights defenders, and political leaders who have faced harassment by security forces in Uganda. In an open letter to Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni, the army, and military leaders, including the president's son, the group called for stronger accountability and protection of women's rights, particularly during arrest, interrogation, and detention. Former Kenyan parliamentarian and women activist Zipporah Kintoyi is one of the signatories of the letter. She told BBC, "I'm sorry what prompted the urgent writing of the communication."
A group of us met and decided to raise our voices to the President Museveni of Uganda. I personally live at the border of Kenya, Uganda, and I'm in the neighborhood, and you get concerned on your neighbors. And therefore, when the brutal assault on Miss Barbara Itungo Kialungi happened in the social media, it was so brutal that you could not sit as a neighbor and watch. It was such a pain that I had to share my concerns with my colleagues. I have served as a leader in Kenya for 56 years. I'm in retirement now at my advanced age. And it is very unfortunate seeing what I'm seeing and hearing what I'm hearing at my background. And it is painful that I could not just sit seeing a woman being tortured in her own privacy, in her own, her rights are violated, and her body is treated as a battlefield. And she has a family, and she has children, and your home is totally infringed and lived even up to now. She's got no freedom in her own background, in her own home. She's still being guarded. If elections has been done and finished, I think the country should go forward and embrace unity and work together with the people of Uganda rather than continue harassing innocent family, innocent children, because they live in terror. And this is not the time that people should live in fear. So that's our concern. And that's why we are to read. I hope President Museveni is going to read and act on our letter, because we are appealing to him. Also with Mama Janet, because she's a mother like all of us, to have
That is the First
mercy and
Lady.
also give forgiveness to, if politics is competition, and competition, there must always be a winner. And after elections, life must continue to go on. And this is our very concern. I hope they will read this letter and leave people to live in democracy and live in peace, especially the Kialungi family and others. There are quite a number of others that we have listed in our letter to the country, Uganda. So we hope that something will be done.
Barbara spoke out from hospital and said that an officer pulled off her blouse, leaving her exposed. But we have also seen on X, formerly Twitter, the Chief of Defense Forces saying that, and I quote, "My soldiers did not beat up Barbie." That's how Robert Chagulani's wife, Barbara, is known as in Uganda. You've talked of concrete actions. What concrete actions would you like to see from the Ugandan government?
Concrete action is to leave people to live normal life, to live in peace, to stop harassing families. It's not only the Kialungi family. If you look at our letter, there are a number of them we have mentioned, and people are even living under fear. This is not a time. This is really wrong for what is happening, and we condemn it in the highest manner possible.
You are in retirement now.
I hope our cries will be answered. That's
you
our
were in
concern.
politics. Yes, you were in politics for decades. Does this surprise you? Was it always like this, or have things just
I have
changed
never seen. We have had issues, but I've never seen to this extent. I'm actually utterly shocked at my age, seeing what I'm seeing and hearing what I'm hearing. I told you I live on the neighborhood, and there's a lot of outcry. People are crying.
One of the signatories of the letter written to the military leader or ruler in Uganda, the president himself, Yoweri Museveni, and other authorities, former parliamentarian, Kenyan parliamentarian, and women activist Zipporah Kintoye. Bobby Wine's wife is in a terrible state. They broke into the house, security forces allegedly moved in under the instruction of President Yoweri Museveni's son, who is head of the military, and they just ransacked the house, manhandled the woman allegedly, and now she is in hospital in a terrible, debilitating condition. That's what you get when you have a dictator. And that's why Africa will never experience total peace, but chaos, war, strife, malice, hate, grudge. It's because when an African government or an African president is president, he feels that he has everything unto him and he should unleash all of his military machinery, political machinery, just everything to subdue, harass, intimidate, create a heightened atmosphere, a fear of intimidation. Don't ever sit supinely and feel relaxed. Some of the characteristics that you see of these despotic African rulers, you would see them going into 2029 or 2029. Get ready. Don't close your eyes and sleep. Be vigilant. Be aggressive. Meaning, follow the issues. Speak out. Raise your voice. Don't sit supinely and you just 2029, 2029, 2029. You do something. And that's something that you can do. That power that you got is the power to change it now. If you can change the atmosphere now, you can never change it. And every other thing will just be an illusion you will be living with. If ever was a time to rise up, to get spirited, motivated, aggressive, now is the time. God allowed these things to happen, or that he exposes these things to you so that you take cue and not just think because it is not in your country. It doesn't have to be in your country. It doesn't have to be Yoweri Museveni as president of Liberia. God only needs you to look at the characteristics, because those characteristics are all political characteristics, and you have a political culture called Liberia. Hence, some of those characteristics might just pop up. So you need not be that weakling of a person. No. Terrible. Africa is cursed. And some people don't like to hear that because they think that they are more clever than any person. They are politically inclined than anyone would think, that they are more patriotic and nationalistic than any Liberians, that they are more religious because sometimes they were put on the religious sentiment that you can curse your country. Liberia is not cursed. You can say that the country is cursed. Ironically, they experience the same curse, but they do not know that they are experiencing curse. So their understanding of curse, it means that God has shut down Liberia. Curse is anything that one does against himself that God can take an action against. If you have everything available to you, like we have natural resources, more than enough to feed, develop, take the country to another level, a population under 5 million, is one of the poorest countries. Is that not a curse? It is a curse. If you have not understood what curse is, then you need to do extensive study on curse. Liberia is a cursed country. It's not a blessed country. A country can be cursed. An individual can be blessed. And if you put any religious sentiment to it, you need to drop it right now. You need to drop it. You need to drop it. This is a cursed country. It's not a blessed country. And it doesn't say that God is not with the country. God hovers. But God does not dictate to you. God gave you the resources that you will prosper, that you will move to another level. But God does not tell you how to use the resources. The resources are your blessing. God does not come and tell you how to use it. If you have your resources and you put it at the disposal of other people, they exploit it, and you stay in poverty, and you feed on them, you look up to them to help you with just everything. What is that? It is a curse. It is a curse. What do you boast of in this country? You only boast of years, 100, 178, 177. I'm not exact with Liberia's years, so don't hold me responsible. Even though I am a citizen of this country, I should know the exact year. But just condemn me on that, and you will be right. But equally accept my approximate. We both, Liberia, the oldest country on the African continent. What does that give you? Liberia is 177 years old. Liberia is 176 years old. What does that give you? Nothing. But a country can remove the curse. Individual can remove the curse. Liberia don't need deliverance. Liberia don't need any bishop, apostle, or pastor, or teacher, or evangelist to deliver. Liberia only needs to change its mind, to purge itself of evil, of wickedness, of grudge, of hate, of malice. Who told you God is not hovering in Liberia? God is. But God does not tell you how to use your natural resources. He gave you your natural resources. This is a cursed country. This is a challenge to people. Look at the country. What do you see? Look all around you. Look at the atmosphere. What is it? Terrible. Tomorrow is national holiday. Tomorrow, Wednesday, February 11, Armed Forces Day. So it is a holiday, constitutional holiday, political holiday. Tomorrow, holiday, sabbatical. Everybody stays home. Nobody get out. Armed Forces Day, holiday tomorrow. Another dry day. Dry day. Going to be dry day. The only country with multiple holidays, several holidays. If some of y'all know, y'all know now, and y'all spread the information, tomorrow, February 11, Armed Forces Day, the president released the proclamation declaring tomorrow, February 11, Armed Forces Day. And it is a national holiday. National holiday, meaning no work, no business, nothing whatsoever. Everything work, business, just everything human interaction. Everything is shut down until Thursday. Then Thursday you can resume your activities. If you get out tomorrow to do a business, when the people pass around, they collect you. In fact, they will not collect you, they will be happy because they will take their holiday from you. You open your shop, they pass around, and you know our man, they will pass around, they collect their late thing. So that shop there has 1,500 in it. The man collecting now 1,500. And if the owner of that shop ain't cook for that morning, tomorrow morning, and that morning, depending on when people come by, they take small thing from there to add up, forget it, you'll be left that way. Mhm. So tomorrow is Armed Forces Day. Armed Forces Day. Let me share with you brief info from militia to the military. It was the militia was the first defense organization activated in Liberia on August 31, 1832 by Jehudi Ashman, agent of the colony, whose street we have in Monrovia called Ashman Street. Today, the modern armed forces of Liberia has its origin in the Liberia Frontier Force, which was established during the administration of Arthur Barclay in 1908. The armed force, or the force, was comprised of 500 men, whose mission was originally to patrol the borders in the hinterland, against British and French territorial expansion and to prevent disorder. The Liberia Frontier Force became Liberia National Guard in 1965. The concept of the formation of the Liberia National Guard was to transition from tax collection to the provision of national security for the citizens and residents of Liberia. The Liberian military grew in fame by its participation in the United Nations-backed peacekeeping mission in the Republic of Congo. The Liberian government contributed 5 contingents which were attached to the Nigerian Brigade. The first contingent was under the command of then Colonel Henry Kogwe Johnson. The third contingent landed in Congo on August 1, 1961, under the command of Colonel James Dane, D-E-A-N, Dane. The fifth contingent landed in Congo on October 2nd, 1962, and remained until the final pull-out of the Liberian peacekeepers in March 16, 1963. The Liberia National Guard became the Armed Forces of Liberia in 1970. The Liberian National Guard became the Armed Forces of Liberia in 1970. The Navy, the Air Reconnaissance Unit, and the Infantry were the 3 units developed. The nominal mission, nominal means minute, small. The nominal mission of the Armed Forces of Liberia has historically been to defend and guide the country's borders, safeguard national security, and protect the population from external aggression. How the Armed Forces Day came into being. And that's the crust of the info I thought to share with you. According to all the bits and pieces of information available, the history of the Liberian Army Armed Forces Day before February 25th, 1955, there was no Armed Forces Day as such, except the country and militia units, each of which had its own quarterly parade day enacted by law. During those dates, the regular army then, called the Liberian Frontier Force, used to combine with units of the national militia to have joint parade on special occasions such as Independence Day, Inauguration Day, etc. However, In 1954, the late Colonel Francis M. Dean, then Assistant Chief of Staff, recommended in his annual report to the Defense Authority that a day be set aside by an act of the National Legislature to be styled and known as Old Soldier Army Festival. Old Soldier Army Festival, a day on which units of the Liberian Armed Forces throughout the nation will assemble at their respective headquarters to jointly participate in field ceremonies of parades and other planned military exercises. Colonel Dean's recommendation traveled through the necessary chain of command until it successfully reached the official decks of the late Commander-in-Chief, President William V. S. Tubman, who in turn approved and submitted it to the lawmakers for legislative consideration. How February 11 was chosen as Armed Forces Day. When the Liberian legislature met in session to consider Colonel Dean's recommendation for legislative enactment, it was suggested that choosing any month and date to be set aside as Army Festival would be inappropriate. Instead, a month and date with same historical events in which a member or members of the armed forces had performed some marvelous deeds in the supreme interest of the nation, Liberia, and its people. By so doing, members of the incoming generations of the armed forces will continue to celebrate this day under appropriate military exercises in honor and remembrance of heroic deeds for their comrades in arms. Moreover, this suggestion was enforced or was embraced with popular support. However, the only event that could quickly come to the minds of the lawmakers was the month and date of Major Michael Cadell, Mickay Cadell, incidents in 1909. Major Cadell was the first commander of the Liberian Frontier Force who carried on mutiny action against the Liberian government during President Arthur Barclay's administration. That aggression of Cadell was repelled by the 1st Militia Regiment headed by Lieutenant Colonel Isaac Moat and his deputy major. Isaac Moat, his last name is spelled M-O-A-R-T. Joseph Dennett, in 1909, having reached a unanimous consensus on this month and date of Major Cadet's event of February 25, 1955, an act of May 9 of each year as Armed Forces Day, with a proclamation that it will be officially observed throughout Liberia as a national holiday. When the act was proclaimed on May 9th as the month and date of Major Cadet's incident, historians everywhere disagreed, including the lawmakers who argue that the incident occurred on February 9th, 1909. This argument, in turn, created a demand for legislative amendment. On March 22nd, 1956, amendment was made, meaning a change was made, delete means to remove, deleting May 9th and inserting Insert means to put in. Delete means to remove. Insert, to put in. On March 22nd, 1956, amendment was made deleting May 9th and inserting February 9th in the Act as Armed Forces Day. Less than a year after the amendment was made, some survivors of Major Cadet's incidents declare that it was February 11th, 1909. Once more, and finally, on February 26, 1957, the appropriate ratification was made in the Act. Major Cadell was a British officer brought to Liberia from Sierra Leone to command the Liberian Frontier Force, and with him were some Sierra Leonean soldiers whom he incited against the Liberian government for salary arrears. The Liberian Frontier Force started a mutiny, and they were given 24 hours to leave Liberia. The current site of the executive mansion was the location of the military barracks, name and star, Camp Johnson Road, and then ultimately legislated February 11, Armed Forces Day. Just thought to share a little bit of that going into February 11, Armed Forces Day, national holiday, so you'll know. Some of the legislators, they don't have this piece that I've just said. Even some of the executive mansion people, least to say the president, they don't even know. All of the time you just hear people reading proclamation. The president of Liberia has released the proclamation declaring February 11 Armed Forces Day. And sometimes you go to the events, you don't hear this. I've had the opportunity of attending a couple of events, Armed Forces Day celebration. Yeah, the defense minister will come and talk about the day, romanticize the people. Yeah, the president will come and deliver other military people. They will come and give their rhetorics. But no, sometimes you need a detail. Though I didn't detail this, but it's part of the meat. But you need a detailed explanation so the people will know. Do you know that most of the people making up the military, they don't know the transition, the various. Even the citizens don't know what we have. Why it is February 11. Everybody just know February 11, Armed Forces Day. All these small things. The people need to know. Most people, all they know February 11, the Armed Forces Day. But how did we arrive at Armed Forces 11? This situation is just like Jesus' birth. One person said, Constantine said, oh, look, let's find a month and a date for Jesus' birth. All right. So we take December 25th. February 11, Cadell, argument, and the other people based using Cadet's stuff, they say, okay, since it is this way, instead of using March, let's look for an event in which a month in which major event militarily happened to give it essence and relevance. And then they push March aside and brought in February and look at events that occurred militarily in February. And ultimately, legislatively, they went for fast forward, or to just call long story short, as they say in Liberia, arrived at February 11, having put off the 9th, put up the 25th, put up all of those dates, and arrived at February 11. Bam. The legislature enacted that into law, February 11. That's how we have it today as February 11 Armed Forces Day. It's based on a reason. Most of the legislators, they don't know. Go ask them. I challenge you. They know. All they know that Armed Forces Day, they're getting ready. They finish sending their various suits to the dry cleaning to go. Going in the tinted windshield. Ask one lawmaker, ask him, what's the essence or how armed forces they came into being. It will not tell you. It will give you no history. You know, this day is very significant in the life of the army, and since President Bouaka came to power, the army is this, and the country now is moving. The order will tell you. But as American legislator about the military, about their armed forces day, that man will open a lecture outside. He will explain in total. Tell the journalists will say, oh, it's okay. Our legislators don't see them all there. Their morale, that so political thing and historically, for nothing, they empty. No disrespect, but as the truth we see it. So tomorrow is national holiday. The national holiday, Armed Forces Day. So let me ask these questions. Let me ask these questions as quickly as I can. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Armed Forces Day in the Republic of Joseph Yeman Boakai and Unity Party. Will JNB, will the president, will Mr. President, Unity Party president, walk to inspect the troops now that he is well? The question is against the backdrop of what we saw in the past. They used the AFL women when he came. They used the AFL women demonstration to say no. They called it off. No country has ever called off its Armed Forces Day, no matter what. That was a minus in the history of this country. It gone down in history. The only government, Unity Party, to do that. Had that been another government, forget it. So then came the Armed Forces Day before this one. Last year, Mr. President was rolled in a pickup with his supporters justifying. And all of us know and still know that they put him in the pickup to roll him because he didn't have the strength, can walk normally, can walk far distance. So we understood that. Whatever his supporters were saying using other countries, that's too petty. And I know they have already designed another one. We will be willing to see whether the president will be rolled in a pickup on tomorrow, because he has to inspect the troop. Armed Forces Day. He is the commander-in-chief. He is the commander-in-chief. This time around, he has to walk. He's in a good bill of health. He's active. His people told us that prior to, or in a build-up, the build-up to Liberia's Independence Day celebration last year, they were making fun of themselves and thought that they were referencing former President Weah. They said, oh, the papi of age, look at the man. The man walked from morning to evening. The man inspecting projects here and there. He didn't rest. The man is energetic, unlike the young boy So we said, no problem. Fast forward, that gave us an understanding that Mr. President is in a good bill of health. Mr. President is active. Mr. President is vibrant. Mr. President has everything. Hence, we expect to see our president walking, marching, vigilantly, majestically, inspecting the troop. Anything short of that, nobody should ever talk about Mr. President strong. Nobody. No Unity Party person. And I know Mr. President is not going to walk. He's not going to move around to inspect that troop or those troops. That inspection takes pretty close to 10, 15, at most 20 minutes. But we expect to see Mr. President not being rolled in pickup, but walking as the commander, inspecting the troops as the commander, commending and receiving the salutation. I will say it that way. I don't know the military jargon, so I know when the soldier reach to the troop, the commander, and then the president have to do like they have to. So I don't know the jargon, but I just let's consider a salutation because the respect. Yeah. Mr. President hand has to go up. When the commander-in-chief is inspecting the troops, the guards, when he or she reaches at a given platoon, the commander for that platoon gives full respect and honor to the commander-in-chief. And the command, he does it militarily. And Mr. President has to do the same. Your hand has to go above your head. I think somewhere like this. Sorry, I can't stand when I stand. You will not stand, see, because the screen not that wide. But I want to stand to demonstrate that. But you can see me as I sit. The finger, the hands, it's straight like this. You see my hand? It's straight. It's not bent. The finger's not bent. It's not like this. It's straight. We know that. We see the military people. Very straight. Just like when your fingers are stiff. Just like stingray. Stiff. And then it has to reach above your right eye, over your eyebrow. It has to go above. So Mr. President will have to do the same, because he is the commander-in-chief. He is the chief of the officers. He is militarily inclined. Let's put it that way. As commander-in-chief, we saw your former President Sally hand went up. Former President Weah hand went up. When former President Weah was saluting in return, they made fun of it. So it is Mr. President time. We will be watching. We'll be observing everything. Mr. President has to inspect the troop walking. He has to raise his hand above. Mr. President will not have to put his hand here. He not woman to put hand on breast. Commander-in-chief don't return the salutation or respect or whichever way they call it as per the military jargon on your chest. Don't put your hand on breast. I think they said that the woman can do that. But Mr. President, if Mr. President is rolled in a pickup tomorrow, then it means Mr. President is not still in a good bill of health. But we are convinced that Mr. President is in a good bill of health because his supporters dismissed our reality by telling us that he's in a good bill of health, he's not sick. We agreed to that. So we expect that vibrancy, that effectiveness, that aggressiveness from Mr. President. We look forward to seeing that. So we say, what they can say, everything in Liberia are happy. So say happy anniversary to the armed forces of Liberia. Let's move on to what came out from the Auditor General's office. The Auditor General P. Gaswa Jackson. You want to have your say on this one. Meaning, as I am talking about it, try to ponder it. Try to ponder it. The Auditor General, this information, this came out of the Auditor General office, that for the first time in the history of Liberia, the General Auditing Commission audited the office of the president, and they termed it unprecedented. Granted. So we want to ask ourselves a couple of questions. One, he described the audit as unprecedented. When was the audit of President Boakai's office done? Who initiated the audit? What was the reason behind the audit? What specifically was the audit for? What are the findings of the audit of the office of the president? Even if there is malfeasance and other things in the president's office, did the GAC publish that, or can they publish it? Can we see the findings? Is the audit of the president's office confidential? If it is confidential, then no problem. But there is a problem. That means there will be no need, or there was no need to conduct an audit. Assume that auditing the president's office as a public official, it is not confidential, it is nothing secret, it's not a security situation like the NSA. So that audit has to be out. Let us know the audit cover what, from what period to what period. What are the findings of the audit of the president's office? Because the president is a public official. Please, you know this. President Boakai is never himself. President Boakai is the property of the Republic of Liberia. President Boakai works at the will and pleasure of the people. President Boakai did not get himself into the presidency all by himself. President Boakai went from one end to another, persuading, convincing the people that he is the man for the job. The people should give him the right by their vote. The people usher him in by their vote. Hence, he is the property of the Republic. He is under obligation to the public. His office is not a private office. It is not his personal office. He is in a public office as a public servant, a public official. Everything about his office is exposed to the public. So if the General Auditing Commission would tell us that they conducted audit on the president's office, then it has to be made public. We want to see the findings. We want to hear the findings. We want to talk about it. We want to read it. We want to discuss it. The president's office is not immune from anything. The only thing the Lord say, why the president is in office, he cannot be sued. When he's out of office, he is a private person. But when he's in office, he is the state, he is the state property. He does the work, he has to concentrate on the work. So there can be no distraction. Anything beyond that, especially with what the General Auditing Commission came out with, then they have to tell us. They have to tell us. So we want to see that it's not bad. That will be a good thing. We want to see that. Let us get to know the audit, how it was conducted, the findings, everything. Let's get to know. If not, it's just a political statement. And it will be empty. It will be a nonsense to put out to the public. You conduct an audit on the office of the president, and you make an announcement, and you can release the findings of it, then it's just a publicity stunt. So we await that patiently. GAC, please, we beg you. You do that. That's good governance. That's open governance. We've been talking about Mr. President office giving full expenditure of his travels and other things. That can be done by his office. It doesn't have to be GSC auditing. No, it can be side by side. They can give expenditure, meaning what they're spending, because the government money they're using. The GSC came out to tell us about the audit. So over the time, Mr. President has not been telling anybody, but he said there'll be no business as usual, but he's in business as usual. He's the main culprit of business as usual. He is the main culprit. He is the main culprit of business as usual. He is the main culprit. So we want to know, please. We want to know if it wasn't a publicity stunt, then fine. If it is publicity stunt, fine. All right. All right. So let's go. It's already the man in court today. The man, Prophet Key, is in the court that the man, nobody should give that thing much of a credence. That the man. That the man, so you don't bother with that. That the man, whatever they do to him, they don't do that the business. That the man. Listen, you all have to be careful. You have to be careful. I don't want to think that this thing is set up, but let's assume, just for a discussion's sake, these guys are trying something. The same government who the previous government decriminalized free speech, there are democratic tenants. This very government used this man. This man the man was satanically rude. The man, he said all kinds of things about women, bad things, all the first ladies and former first lady, everybody. You know the situation with he and Judy Andy, when Judy Andy tried to take action. And now the same government, they are leading man. That is same government. The same government. What's the name of the show? I was watching it last night. After I got through listening to Face the Issues. I think it's Alien. They prepare their own predator. The predator is in a lab. This doctor is doing a research. She's writing a book on those stuff. So she goes to this lab at the request of one of the scientists. And then she's taken into the lab. The predator is on the table. The predator, they're doing all kinds of things. She go into this place, she go in the other doctors, then they are doing X, Y, Z. What happened when that happened? Their own predator woke up and started destroying them one by one. That's the same thing here. Their own predator they created, their predator turned against them. All of these people were here when their predator was feeding, was spreading his prey on former officials. That man said all kinds of personal things. Former Vice President Joe Howard Taylor, He said all kinds of things about almost all of the women that were in CDC government. It was 24/7 normal for him. None of them, as far as they're concerned, they saw it at that time as free speech, as democratic this, democratic that. Former President Weah and his people endure it. Time can reveal character. And time does not take away an entrenched character. No, only the time passes, but that character remains. That's the situation with this man. Time passed, 6 years, George Weah out. But his character is still with him. That's the character now, the predatory nature he's using against them. Then they say they're holding him in contempt because where one right ends, there where another person right begins. That whole thing, you don't give that thing much of a credence. That Gio, that Nimba people, that so or then, that Nimba and Lofa people, predominantly Nimba. I don't know where the Chief Justice from. He from Nimba County, Prophet Key from Nimba County, the VP from Nimba County. And I tell you, Prophet Key does these things with ease and confidence, no regret, because he has most of his Manon, Gio, or Nimba people in government. I would say it this way, and I'm saying it because the very government tribalized everything. They tribalized politics, they tribalized governance, the religious, they did everything. So the man going there, he knows. Assume that they send him to jail. Assume that the Nimba County Chief Justice sends him to jail. He will be talked for by Nimba County Vice President. They will put him on. He will be talked for by Nimba County Senator Samuel Koga. He will be talked for by Nimba County Senator, how they call him, say, Yan Twine. He will be talked for by Nimba County Representative Ta Wongwe. So the man knows that all of the Nimba County people will come and tell the teachers, and finish. What the man did the team for is and they call him who went free. And I seen Gio, Manon people. So y'all leave that thing. So that is there. Let's go. Let's take your calls and then we go home. 0772 23 99 33 0886 30 44 97 0777 980375. You want to go straight to the point so that we can take as many of you as we can, and then we are out for today. You can have your say. Let's go now. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
But I'm still talking about coming from the country of Western. So that those people that they're not people to listen. That today the chief say no about 40 people. So we're talking about how we move the country forward. Then you need to find the people how to move the country forward. When Prophet King calls
your line cracking. Sorry, your line is cracking. Hello. Change your location.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Hey, Emmanuel Tono and I call you from a City resident. Yeah, I started by the radio and I've been listening to you very keenly, but I did not hear you speaking of what happened this one Saturday from Radio West. The John Security were on the ground cleaning up. I believe if it was something back in the day, it should have been airing by you.
Yeah.
But being like it is good, you are saying nothing, so I want to know why.
Yeah, that's it there. And you have explained it. You've already asked the question, you answer it. So that's it there. Thank you.
So if it's only the back side you want to explain.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Mannequin calling from Robbie Highway. You know, The people, they can't make fun with us, but they're making fun with themselves. Prophet King was causing President Weah yesterday, caused a man murder, the dead mother for under the ground, raised the boom, turn and go to John Howard Taylor and sorted out lady for nothing. They sorted the former cultural ambassador all around here. They took out mental health, teach yesterday. They went, they said, they do it no matter the way, they put the men outside. Now, if they time today, remember the GBC who are in now. Then why they tell the men to jail for? You see, the people are not serious.
All right, Chief.
They put them making fun of themselves, they say they're making fun of somebody. Then another man sat right in that president office and saying, always at the president office. How can you always somebody behind the camera? Behind the scenes? You see? So the people, they will continue making fun of themselves, but anyway, 2029 is coming for them. We'll put them in a category one by one, and we'll make sure we'll pay president, we are there. Everything they take it for the country, they will pay back. Tomorrow, 2029 is coming. Let us be there, they be seeing the country money, they say the auditing president office. How can you audit somebody in the neck? Yeah? Let the people that are so lies, so criminal, they came in power with. That's you. Oh, man, that's me. They don't want that one. They want to bring all the Papa George down to our president, taking it to die.
They did it office in the night. They did it audit in the night.
Yeah, they did it now. A criminal with a building. So they do it now. They hang it all the go home. They say, oh, bring all the public office. Public office auditor, the whole country don't know. It's not,
all right,
you just know in your bedroom, you work on some money.
Thank you. You're right.
Public office.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's sit down with it.
You're right. Thank you. Hello. Yeah, I say you're cutting the radio off. Hello. 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 You are on the air, madam. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
This is Edmund Carr, and I'm the visually impaired that is pushing for the return of President Weah.
Let's hear you, Mr. Carr.
I don't know. The journalists know what makes the news. Like everything, we take it, somebody goes sweet on the sour, they take it, you put it on the news. Let's discuss something serious. We're looking at serious issues that happen here. Huh? In fact, you see, yes, what the word that they can use, unprecedented. What is the unprecedented aspect about the only, or it is secret? If you do the only, you put it up, whether it was any factual or whatsoever, we will see it. But nothing. You just can tell us, oh, you finish doing all that. Where is the report? We can't see it. Or is it another publication just to cover up some things? We want to see the order that you did. We want to see the report so we can know, because we are fully aware that this president having more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 visa cards, and each of it carrying $100,000 wherever he travels in the country. So I want to see the order. That's how you put on the big word and you think you can play with the Liberian people with that? No. Look, Prophet Key, look, come on, man. That free speech that guy is hiding behind, it doesn't say immoral act. No. The freedom of speech that they gave out of us, it is allow us to speak up to issue with all anybody has rising up. And he said you should go straight on, you ugly words where the children are around, the children can go on the social media, they start to collect those kind of information. Here's what the thing that I can talk. How you will tell me, say, you will cause a man, cause a wife, cause a mother, you forgot about your children because the mother know about it, the wife. What kind of immoral act is that?
But they groom the man. They groom the man, Mr. Carr.
Yeah.
They groom the man.
Yeah.
They turn the man into a predator and he turned against them.
Yeah. So you accepted the very just Chief Justice today. He was on the bench as associate of the Supreme Court bench. When the guy was doing that, what did he do? Because what we do today, we are setting the foundation for tomorrow. You could have checked. Let it start doing what you do. Joanna Taylor is a mother. President, we are mother been there ever say and go. Don't do it. But you allow him to go ahead. Here we are today. But we hope they are doing it in good faith. If they are doing it, you can say, oh, if they could do it to their own man, who they can't do it to, it's a shame.
Emoka, the strategy they want to use, we already, we heard certain things. They want to clamp down on certain media institutions and individual journalists. So they're trying to use the situation. Then you say, oh, the people you saw, Prophet Key, they did that. And I told you, I said nothing will come from other air. They send a man here to Thursday.
You see that? So, none of these serious, this is a serious issue we are discussing here.
They said it to Thursday.
Yeah, man. That's why I talk about somebody cleaning on the streets. You go talk about it. Thank you, man.
All right, Mr. Carr. Hello.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Good afternoon, Mr. Andrews.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Andrews and Spencer Mohammed, and I call my people down Coast Bone Hill, Western community. Thank you, Mr. Andrews. Mr. Andrews, just a minute, let me respond to my brother. My brother, what the AFL was doing, so they call it social corporate responsibility. When the AFL Armed Forces Days is coming, they select designated area and they go there and do that public public cleanup or public use or project. So this is that strange. If you didn't see it over the last 6 years, a happy honor President Weah. The people came to Battery Factory, they went to other communities, they went to West Point, and they went to other communities. Those things were happy honor President Weah, for which you guys voted against. So it's not a news. So don't make it look at news. Go back in your closet and check what you voted for. That's not what you voted for. That's the responsibility of our armed forces to do it. Whenever the armed forces days is coming in any country, so it's not a news here. And to the issue, Mr. Andrew, myself have had this thought over the days. Our armed forces day is coming. The first time, the president ran away. The second time, we saw the president in a pickup truck inspecting a car. First of a car in the history of Liberia. Myself, I'm thinking whether tomorrow he will do the same. Mr. President, we wait to see. People say you are competent, you are capable of doing the job. So tomorrow, we anticipate to see you doing your job. And the next thing have to be with, my next topic has to do with P. Gaswa. Hey, Gaswa. P. Gaswa, are you telling us that all of you will be buried along with President Boakai, come 2029? Gaswa, why are you allowing yourself to be destroyed for little or nothing?
But Spencer, we're waiting for the public disclosure of that audit. We're waiting for it.
This is where I'm going, Mr. Andrew. This is where I'm going. Mr. Andrew, Mr. Gaswa, how will you conduct an audit in the darkness? How will you conduct an audit in a secret? What kinds of audit was conducted on the president's office? What are the reports for which you are describing as unprecedented? P. Gaswa, President, we are appointed you people thinking that you people are going to do the honorable thing, and all of you people are performing below the belt. Hey, Gaswa, you allow, should I say tribalism or what?
All right, Spencer Mohammed.
Thank you very much for always giving us the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Sadu.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, we talk about calling from Jacobi. Thank you very much. Sadu, the children are doing the committee are doing only for President Boakai. Nobody coming for you, we're not stupid. That in the name you will do on the order that you not properly.
But the bonus say in the now, the men say in the now, they did the order.
Yeah, but in the order in the back office and nobody know about it. So we're not coming for you. Everything here, we're not stupid. And still go your year and go and pray for the record time. We're not stupid again. Our first time, before they enter the country, no journal or yellow, tell people the truth. That can we will lie to the native people. That can we destroy. But they coming around. Our app is open and we are listening to radio and you're seeing it basic every day, one by one, and we are understanding we're not stupid. And secondly, Prophet Kid, they say they carry into jail or they carry into court. Let me tell you, Yami, better you coming for anybody here. Prophet Kid, cross the woman in the tire, you said that freedom and speak. You said that freedom and speak. Then they pass up on the president office. Go and free the man. He said that freedom and speak. I don't say Puju Keita.
Buju Ben Keita.
Yeah. Okay, Buju Ben Keita. He said that freedom and speech. Your feet are working around. You saw that woman. You said that freedom and speech. If you come to super and Prophet King say, "Land of school," ever say that my cousin, my cause, that I bring for God to power. So, it's centered in your prayer for the game to nine of me. And we tell you, the teacher says, corrupt. I got all the document. So let me tell you, the city will tell you, Bible and say they tell you or they say what they say. So for what you get about the one president we are, your own so that your co that is your cricket today. So my brother, thank you very much. We are not stupid, yeah. So let's do now we want our PSA for your power. Thank you very much.
So yeah, my man in the code just sent me in the conversation. He said the court said, because he following the show, right? He just tells me, he said, the court said, Prophet Key, bring your lawyer. Prophet Key said, you should give me a lawyer. Right there was this, oh bro, you look at me, I look at you, the murmuring. And then the case is postponed. Well, you be that, oh, come on. That's joke. Joke. Why did you waste all that time? Why did you create the public hype, that publicity? Why you oh come on, you don't do things. Honorable Supreme Court, you stoop so low in a childish frolicking manner like that. You should be serious. You call a person for you go through it and be finished. What is it? What is the gravity of this? Prophet Key said, I push it to test it. But I told you the thing that trouble something. Prophet Key that Nima Kante man. The chief just said that Nima Kante, the vice president and Nima Kante, Samuel Koga and Nima Kante, Tab Wombe Nima Kante, Yan Twa and Nima Kante, the whole Nima Kante affair. You think Prophet Key just saying nothing and defying the chief just say and doing all kind of thing gaming chief because he's so strong or nobody can do anything to him. But because he has all of the people, the men on tribal ground. Yeah, and the people tribal likes governance. Yeah, let's go back to the women's line, yeah. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, hear you quick. Yes, good afternoon. How are you?
How are you?
What is your name?
My name is Benuli Kamara Fatasha was for their own Suri Koda, and I want to drink a Peter in your more. What Papa was telling cousin we are in my woman. Oh, the back to G, that Nana is said of to G, and all of the country, joke, that people are joking. The other thing what is supposed to do for the country to be developed, country the people, the citizens are shop for. They're not putting that attention to. They're putting their attention to fully. Tomorrow, I'm forced to be. will not rap people again. Don't try to rap people. When you rap people are there, that don't try to rap. We will look at it. Someone will go into that.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend. No, not weekend, but holiday tomorrow. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Andrew.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Andrew, this is Direki.
Direki, how you sounding so, my man? You're not sounding well.
Oh, man, sorry, I'm cool.
Yeah, but you have to work on that call, my man. Okay, let's hear you quick. Just say what you got to say.
Yeah, you know, all what they are saying to us to be, I think it is belated. People have 3 points of abuse, President we are wise. It didn't do it. You had a letter of the king.
Your line is cracking. Just walk away from where you are.
I'm out again now.
Yeah, let's do it quick.
Yeah. People in Southern former president we have for the last 6 years. The former Judge Bagila in Southern. She took out a kid that very good. You don't get that when they affair, it was a nephew of Swiss. We are members of the Table Mountain Agreement. We signed the Table Mountain Agreement for the Azla Kamara Act called Profeki. So what we are hearing is anything to believe. They want to go after critical media houses in the town. So this is why they are taking it to look like Profeki will be penalized for insulting. When insult became a crime in this country.
All right.
Then the next thing has to do with it overnight audit. How can you audit President Wakai when the public the audit report has not been published? Then you call it unprecedented there. If nobody asks you to audit the president, you come up with your own strategy. You got 1 year, you went 2 years, no mark. So you just finding something to take away the public attention for your failure, and you're talking about auditing president. This is not the time yet. We'll audit president Waka when the time comes. Thank you.
And you have a nice holiday tomorrow. Hello. Yeah.
Afternoon, that my best.
Let's hear you.
So when you let party what they do bad, that eat it, they get cook. What other person do bad, they go to cook. That don't be so. You let the party, you see it, your party, your party is sorting people that want to them sorting. Any seven you will say, that you will say next time. Nobody have people in the party yet. Nobody have this time for anybody in the party yet. But I see 4 women, that's a day that in the night, they join the case. They say, they get out with 2. The person talking, yeah, if we talking. One was coming, they say, what you want to poor lie. They work at it for 14 years. So they say, do over, they say, you see them, you let them party. We all of will not get justice. Your minister 4 women first. They see the man, they join the case. But you have to come and say tomorrow. They have to say, last year, he did a paper. You might have to out of us. You might have to Jeremiah Kune. Jeremiah Kune, our president. Jeremiah that people for the mansion. You might have to say there. God was saying, but I can't go there. Jeremiah can go there. Jeremiah will go there. But the one Jeremiah will say, any say on there. You get it on the message, you say about to be stuck yourself. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Oh, hello, sir.
Yep.
Yes, this is council. So I want to ask, is that a councillor that put it separate telling you how to rest of Carol?
Who councillor?
The city councillor that carry traffic key to court.
No, that the Chief Justice, that the Chief Justice, Yami Gwesi.
Yeah, I see. Oh, that Yami Gwesi, okay. They shouldn't delay our time because they even know the law. They just put people in jail. No, but like they shouldn't delay our time. Then we're talking about maybe audit. So you like wrong sleeping, when they stole the bosses and they say they pay money. Then they brought machine. They say they pay money. No. They say we stupid.
Yeah, but I cancel that one. That I'm bad thing. That I'm bad thing. That I'm bad thing. You know what we want? What we're waiting for? And when you do investigation, and you can bring all the outcome of the investigation for everybody to see and know and talk about it. So they're not batting to make the announcement that he conduct audit of the president office. So we only want to see the audit now. And when GSC do audits, and you can hear all talking about you say GSC say they want the other ministry from their time to their time they did this. They're not doing that. And you can hear it. So we're waiting for the president office to the same way. Hello.
Hey, Sam, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. And you?
I'm okay, James Labrador, and I call you from the township of West Point. Let me say thank you, Sam, so much for the information. For me, that audit is lie. How can you conduct your audit then you're happy? What are you happy for? That you will be announcing it all around the place? Give more chance, bring forth the facts. All the audit we conducted, the president office, this is what went wrong, this is what is good in the president office, this is what the president did, what the other form one, great pay of money, don't want to hear about these things. You don't come tell us or lecture us, telling us, oh, we conducted audit in the president office.
NASCO money, the money they took NASCO to buy cars, every other thing.
You're talking about them, but you're telling us that you conducted audit with celebration.
And you know how they say it? You know how they said it? That the audit was successful, no malfeasance, no corruption, nothing, everything perfect.
That is my problem with him.
When he want to maintain his job, that's why he celebrating around here.
But that's why the GSC able to say corruption in Boaga office corruption.
They will never say it, but the men celebrating already say they were happy because the audit was successful. Like to say, oh, this is the fact that we brought.
No, they see stupid people in Liberia. They see stupid people. They think that stupid people in Liberia, and they are the clever ones.
We can never be stupid because technology is working and things are different nowadays. Where you just sit in your corner and lie to the Liberian people. It can't work no more. Thank you so much, Sam.
All right. Have a nice holiday on tomorrow. You did extremely well. Let's read the comments. We have to do justice to the text starts. Gabriel West said, what do Liberians expect from GHC auditing of Boakai's office? Fraud? The GHC director needs to keep his job. So audit reports in Boakai will obviously be 100% okay. These guys got no integrity. Emmanuel Bro, the audit was secretly conducted by the GHC, and so is the reason why people are saying that it was done in the night. Rita Hart, Unity Party created their own muster, so the Liberian people got nothing to do with it. These are some of the situations when you dance with the devil that is there and she laughs. Emmanuel Pijaka. All right. Yeah. Emmanuel Bro on the Armed Forces Day said, I share the day with the Armed Forces of Liberia because it's also my birthday. In essence, I am a military man in disguise. Happy birthday to you, Emmanuel Bro, as you get ready to celebrate your day. Bless God for you that you can have your day alive. That's great. Wish that you celebrate and celebrate well. Happy birthday to you, Emmanuel Bro. All right, so let's have this break. Then we move on to George Weah returns to the presidency 2029. Let's have this break. Here we go. You're listening and watching Real Talk Kings 88.5 on this day, February 10th, 2026, the reign of Judah Christopher.
Two leaders walking different lives. One leads with love, the other spite. George and Joseph both can stand so clear. One brings hope, one brings fear. Joe's way he rules with gentle hands, lifts the weak and understands. Every soul gets equal chance. Compassion flows in his advance. When the people need him near, he steps down to dry their tears. Plays with kids and helps the old. His warm heart can't be sold. Oh, Joe's where leaves with love so true. Every day his care shines through, while the other spreads the pain. Joseph Boker brings the storm and rain. Joseph Boker brings the storm and rain. Joseph Boker rules with hate and lies, laughs as hungry children cry, treats his people like they're dirt, leaves them bleeding, leaves them hurt. When the nation needs his aid, he just watches while it falls. mocks their pain with cruel delight. Devil dressed in leader's might. Lord chose where leads with love show true. Every day his care shines through, while the other spreads the pain. Joseph Bokia brings the storm and rain. Whoa.
On the eve of the holiday tomorrow, Real Talk, Kings 88.5, February 10th. Let's go home this way. Former President George Weah returns to the presidency. That caption is statutory, cast in stone, cannot be erased. Under that caption, George Weah returns to the presidency, which is a segment by itself, but it incorporates other ideas. We look at dates. LIB. All right. So let's talk George Weah, former president. Weah returns to the presidency 2029. That is the caption. But under that caption, I want to stretch, expand, extend on whichever the description on what Israel talked this morning about CDC decision, expending or expelling those individuals. The first thing is no law, no relationship, nothing absolutely is binding. No marriage is binding. No relationship, nothing absolutely is binding. Marriage can be consummated. Marriage can be broken. Political marriage can be consummated. It can be broken. The same way, every person has his or her right to terminate his or her service with an institution, a political party, a church, a social organization, just any institution. So an institution also has the right to part ways with anybody based on whatever the situation it deems undesirable. What I want to talk to you about is the positive, the beneficial aspect of the expulsion. Those with political myopic reasoning will sentimentally conclude that it is against the Congress for Democratic Change because they see it as losing individuals. In this context, it benefits the Congress for Democratic Change. And if you were ask me, what CDC or should the hierarchy of CDC expel more? I will tell you that as many times as they can do, they ought to do. And if you are a sedition, if you are jitter, then you are not a sedition. One's departure is an opportunity for another person's step in. It is like the football game. A player leaves voluntarily. The team can ask that that player leaves because of whatever. It opens room for another player to come in. There are too many political players. The Congress for Democratic Change has 144,000 players. I'm not talking about peripheral characters. I'm talking about influential players. The Congress of Democratic Change, headed by former President George Weah, has 144,000 influential players. Expulsion simply means the act is undesirable. Hence, it can be it goes with due process or no due process. So let me dismiss that part, that argument of due process. Given the nature of the situation, it does not require a due process. There are things that you do in your office, it does not require due process. It only requires action. There are things that you do in your house. It does not require due process. In your organization, whatever. There are things that you do will necessitate a due process. It depends on the nature. It is not everything that requires or calls for due process. Let's start living with that illusion. It is not everything that demands or requires or to go through a due process. Given the nature, it will require no due process. Again, the act by CDC is justified. It is 1,000,000% correct. It is not unusual. It is nothing unprecedented. No, it is the normal of the whole world. It is even biblical. It is even biblical. Those of you who yelling all over the place, Unity Party people, you people have expelled people in your individual organization, your church, you just everything. It's not because you are supporting Unity Party and CDC took action, and then you're yelling all over the place. Expulsion is normal. When I say normal, when the need be for it. It is biblical. Both the Old Testament and New Testament are filled with expulsion. God himself expelled. Come on, there's nothing extra in it. What are you yelling all over the place for? CDC is only doing what is right institutionally. CDC committed no wrong. And there is nothing there for anybody to think they can buy into and score political capital from it. It's just like saying, or what Jesus said in John 8:7, he who has not sinned, let him be the first to throw the stone. Who has not thrown people out? Some of you, you're throwing people out of your office. You're for act that you're deemed undesirable. You're through people, you're expel them from your house. You're expel them from your organization. You're expel them from your community group. CDC hierarchy only did what is right from its reasoning. God expelled. The very God recommended expulsion of undesirable character. Let me help you with one or two. The very God, he recommended expulsion. And he gave the reason. You think God's stupid? You think God ain't know? You think everything is doing on earth, it does not have biblical backing? Genesis 3:24-25. That expulsion right there. That expulsion. What happened? They were expelled from the Garden of Eden for disobedience, for being rude, for being an ingrate. Just as those people who CDC expelled. Titus, go in the New Testament and sharing them with you. Titus, in Titus 3:10. Go there. You see, there is the instruction to expel undesirable character from in your midst. What did Paul say? What did Paul say in 1 Corinthians 5:13? What did he say? Get rid of such person from your midst. What is that? Expulsion. Removal means expulsion. Expulsion means removal. Undesirable character cannot be kept in your midst. You cannot keep an ingrate in your midst. An ingrate is Satan incarnate. And if you don't get rid of that incarnate, that Satan incarnate, you find yourself in your grave. You find your institution retrogressing. All kinds of things will happen. God in heaven himself took on the decision to expel certain people from certain people's midst to get certain things going. Expulsion is not by expulsion, it's discipline. It's discipline. There is no wrong in it. Now, let's look at it carefully. Look at the characters that they expelled. You want to look at them. For God in heaven's sake, if that is a good character, let me say to you, every one of you who are lambasting CDC, then you are disorganized. It means it's just a matter of time before somebody betrayed you and you regret it. You cannot have a person who claims to be for you. Let's go to the first character. Kanyo Gbagbala has never been a supporter of CDC. 1. 2. Kanyo Gbagbala has never lived within CDC with his mind, body, soul, and spirit. Kanyo Gbagbala was in CDC because of the opportunities. And given his creativity, he took advantage of it. At that time, CDC wasn't critical. So they could not discern pretense from loyalty. Where did Kanyo come from? Kanyo came from a dead Liberty Party that could not give him life. What happened with the people whom he was with Liberty Party? Yomli Kanga Lawrence, she had nothing. The party was dead. Every one of them was looking for it. Dillon, he was looking for it. The party was dead. They were constrained to sell the party to one of the richest men in Liberia in Musability or to Musability. Kanyo CDC comes to the scene. Kanyo Bagbala looks at it and say, I have to start praising President Weah. I have to start doing this. I have to start doing that. That's how he got the space. An opportunist will look for a real opportunity to take advantage of to insert himself in that place. And that's how it was. When former President Weah conceded and was on VOL in the afternoon the same way, and I just say I'm going on the air to explain this. Let the people have an understanding. Not two items, just one. That former President Weah, now he's former president, CDC is not in power. Almost everybody I said on the show will leave former President Weah. I was looking for that recording today, giving the length, but until I get in there, I will keep searching. I thought to just bring it and play that identical part to tell you typically how our culture looks. When you get money, everybody, well, they sing praising you. When you get that money, they find a way to look for the next person who has. I said, people, you watch it. I'm giving you the signs. The person who has the table, I can remember that I used that expression. The person who has the table has the advantage. In this situation, the man whom has been elected, Joseph Yuma Bwaga, has the table. On the political table, there is the money, there's the positions, and every other thing. The man who does not have the table anymore, nobody regards him. It will only take loyal supporters to be with former President George Weah. Still looking for that, I will get it. I predicted, forecast the future this day. I said it would take loyal supporters, and those loyal supporters will be few that will stay with former President George Weah. The rest of them, they will go because former President Weah, now he's former president, he does not have the table any longer politically, financially. They will now turn to the person who has the table. What are we saying today? Almost everybody came out. Former President Days, Joe Weah did not have the leadership. Oh, they want to dead. And Joe Weah did not dead. And Joe Weah did not. And Joe Weah did not. What are they telling you? That man, he does not have it again. If former President Weah, or if President Weah was re-elected president, all of these defections, all of these damning things that you heard people saying, you would not have heard it. But the table turns now from former President Weah to the current president. CDC needs to do more soul searching. What other thing I said? That the mistake that CDC made, because we saw CDC over those 6 years, we raised some issues, we raised some concerns. They were fanned off. That instead of just going to primary, you're taking people, the other person can, based on interest, put the other person in, you fan off this other person. was going to affect, because people saw it as opportunity now, because former president, we are popular, and so let's ride on this man's popularity. 99.9%, or I can say 100%, let me not say 99%, 100%, except you were in the country to see George Weah in opposition coming all the way into that moment, the presidency. No one was popular in this country to rise to any occasion legislative. Nobody whatsoever, all by themselves. Everybody looked up to former President George Weah. That name was the beacon of hope for people. That name was the name that people felt could come out, could bring them out of poverty, out of dungeon. That name, everybody was worshiping. Nobody can tell St. Andrews that it was all by themselves, except St. Andrews was not in this country and saw George Weah in opposition, and saw how people saw him as their core. Those who are saying today that he does not have leadership, they saw him as having leadership yesterday, but they don't believe, but they only wanted the power of the name George Weah to get them there. Everybody, not a single person, ever won anything in that legislature all by themselves. It was George Weah. The name, just by the mention of the name George Weah, you are in the legislature. Just by the presence of George Weah, the name, just by the mention of the name George Weah, you came out of poverty. Just by the mention of the name George Weah, you got the position. Just by the mention of the name George Weah, life came into you. All those people who today saying all manner of things, the goodness, the humility of George Weah, they came into his presence. Kanyo Bagbaladen was never extra than any other person. It was because of Weah's humility and love for young people to give them space. And given that he was in the law school, he said, oh, he could help with his expertise. You can't have such a person. The Joe Walker he went to, he started showing Joe Walker a picture in the past, and he was struggling. Nobody could help. Yombly Kanga Lawrence could not help as his partisan. Dillon could not help as his partisan. Everybody left. Everybody was on their own. Liberty Party was practically dead. All of us know the story that they sold the party to businessman Musability. He has never been a sedition. He has never liked CDC. And that's what he showed. That's what he showed. Every time, now listen to the man, every time the man talk, you say CDC is his party, he has not resigned from his party. Let me tell you people something. The only language the devil knows and understands best is lies. Anyone who lives, preaches, enjoys lies is a direct representation of the devil. How can you say you have not left CDC? Your CDC is your party. And then the opponent to your party, you support them. Everything they do against your party, you support it. You have to figure out that thing. Even you people who are supporting these guys, condemning CDC for expelling them, you said on your thing, put reason to it. Until the man has a job. That's how he works. If God would just fast forward time and Unity Party is off the presidency, I bet you will see those people looking for another opportunity to move. When I tell you people Liberia don't have politicians, you think I'm saying that there's no politics in Liberia? I'm talking about character, consistency. What they say of former President George Weah when he was in opposition. They say, oh, the man is not consistent. It was one of the things that United Party used against him. They say, oh, he's not consistent. Today the man on his side, tomorrow he on his side. He said this one today, tomorrow he say another thing. The people who claim to be highly educated than him, it's not the same thing they are doing. This is what they call political inconsistency, political greediness. You join Liberty Party, you join to Liberty Party. Could not help Liberty Party. They broke down. They sold the party to ability. Life tough. Former President Weah comes on the scene as president. He say, oh, I got to take advantage of this. Jump inside. Not bad. The man gave you life. All of you people, everybody, the man gave you life. God first, we are second. And then you're helping the man's enemy to come against him. And then you say the party should not expel. Here is it. It is not going to affect CDC. George Weah is in trouble by that. And nobody should think that this decision did not meet the approval of former President Weah. You can keep an ingrate in your midst. Turn that ingrate into your own enemy and see what's going to happen with you. There are people who play the softly, say they cannot take any radical decision. And you know the man with all, and you know this and that. Why were Deacon honor them? Kanye Gbagbala is one of the wicked characters that I've ever seen walk the face of the earth. You don't want to do that to anybody. All of these things, they have serious repercussions or serious effect. You would think that, yeah, nothing wrong with it. Oh, yeah, because the man coming on your side. Or the man talking for you. But from a human standpoint, drop the politics, it affects you. People get to know that the kind of person you are. You see what happened today, Costa? Henry Costa, and we told you today, Henry Costa conscience can never serve him well. Unity Party people don't trust him in any given way. Boaka can never ever trust that man. And you see it? That one he was not. He come on city on Weah side. He said all kinds of things against Weah. Weah still show him kindness. He fell when the table turned. It was no longer Weah's table. He joined on Boaka's side, dependable nephew, said all manner of things. He was not saying it in Utopia. He was saying those things in Liberia. All Unity Party people in Liberia, they heard it. Today, Costa is politically dead. That's one of the things it does, an ingrate. You never ever live to be an ingrate on earth. You will kill yourself, you will commit suicide. It has a serious debilitating effect on your existence. Politically, you will enjoy it. You will have the dollars. You will have the United States dollars. You will have the fame. You will get the recognition. You will have the accommodation, and you will have the incorporation. But you will sit down one day and say, if I had known, never attempt to be an ingrate and never keep an ingrate in your cycle. Never. So the next point here, how does it benefit CDC, if they expel these people are influential characters. They are not influential characters. They are opportunists. It is a positive for CDC. It is a positive for CDC. Listen, unless you put off certain things and certain people, undesirable people from your life, you will be living with illusion, and it's just a matter of time before setback comes your way. If a person is not with you ideologically, and you keep him or her in your company still, fearing that you will lose such person or persons, not long, you are in your grave or your institution is done. What did God say in Matthew 6:24? You can't serve two masters. Isn't it stupid to say I am a member of CDC is my party, and then you get another thing on the other side supporting the enemy of CDC? Doesn't it worth expulsion to give you time to concentrate on the new girl? Political betrayal is just like social issue. I think CDC exercise patience, but they knew when the game won you, she finished with you, you will just be there. You'll be acting like she still like you, but she ain't like you. She done with you, her feeling finished with you. But yeah, oh, I'm above in there. Oh, am there? But on the other side, the new guy is the guy that she thinks of every day. She does whatever she can do. She praises him a lot and on and on. That's what you saw Kanye and those people doing. They knew they got the hint that CDC was about to expel them. You cannot keep enemy within. Take this thing out of politics. Let's put the politics aside. Most of you who think that CDC wrong, y'all continue to keep enemy within. And there are too many people under this ground. They kept enemy within. God showed them the signs. Oh, that thing. Oh, the man, oh, that thing. Until anybody, a double standard person, you think God in heaven stupid when he say a double-minded man is unstable in his ways? What that means is if you keep a double-minded person in your place, a double-minded person is a shakable person, is a person that is not consistent, a person that can be used at any time. It's just a weakling, a person that can give into anything. So even if the devil come and say, Mama, yeah, is dead, stop this person, that person will go for that money and stop. That person does not have any loyalty. Ask yourself, why did God say that? It's reference to human character. A double-minded man is unstable in his ways. Why did he say you cannot serve two masters? That means you can be that pretending. You can. What would ever have taken these guys, gentlemen? Thanks ever so much for the time we stayed together, the service we rendered together. The time has come to leave CDC, and I have my new organization called Centrism, or I support the Unity Party government, hence I am on that side. Listen, let me say this thing here. Sorry to say if I say it this way, because it's mental stupidity. It is mental stupidity. Everybody goes for development, but everybody can be on the same side politically. It doesn't make sense to say you are in a political party, but you support the government. You either give your full allegiance to the government, or you stay in your political party and support the policy of that political institution. That's what integrity is. That's what political integrity is. You cannot flit. You cannot gallivant. You're between two opinions, you're between two institutions. Those who are watching this movie, draw a lesson from it. If you think it is right, get involved and see whether it will not affect you in life. Today, but you always see, and people will get to know, all of these people who condemn former President Weah, throw weight behind current President Joseph Yema Boakai, will sit down and say, yeah, we left CDC. CDC expelled us. Had we known, we would not have done what we did. If anybody thinks that CDC decision to expel will cripple the party because Joseph Yema Boakai is the one who has the dollars now, and CDC does not have the dollars, you should be living in utopia. Right, the advantage. The current government has the advantage. Every government has the advantage. But it is not because they like you, they incorporate you. It's only because they want to use you as surrogates to accomplish their aim. Everybody who have crossed over to President Boakai, it's not that President Boakai likes them. It's not that President Boakai being pursuing them. They came to President Boakai because President Boakai is the president of Liberia. He has all of the thousands and millions. And they come to Boakai not necessarily that they like Boakai. They came to President Boakai because President Boakai has the money. He has the appointing power. He has the positions. They did it to previous presidents. Unity Party people, some of them, they left. They praised President Weah, they came in. Former President Salif, we saw it. What's that man? Meton TJ. What did Meton TJ what he did not say against former President Salif? He said former President Salif can never be president. If former President Salif become president, this will happen, this will die, all kinds of things. When life got tough for him, he started preaching, worshiping former President Salif. They brought him in government. These people, they look for where the gravy is. Come on, Liberia does not have politicians. Go in Nigeria, see politicians. You see vibrancy. You see independence. You see financial independence. You see integrity. They don't have to feed on anybody. They don't have to praise sing anybody to get dollars in the pocket. These guys here, they are not politicians. Politicians are people who are grounded, not only with the science, but financially and other things. What do you see here? The people gallivant from one party to another. You must condemn the former party so that you get recognition into the current party. Is that politician? Is that politicking? No, that is not politicking. Politics is the issues. Politics is the issues. I don't have to join Unity Party to praise them or to do any other thing. I only need to be where I am and critique the government. In my opinion, if I find it necessary, if I find it necessary to say the government did X, Y, Z, positively fine. If I find it necessary not to say the government did X, Y, Z, fine. But I'm not going to sing the government so I get recognition. Then they send me into a given place to sit down there. I'm not a politician. I'm just a gobbler. I'm just a sycophant. I'm just an ingrate. just looking for some kind of opportunity. I am just a leech. I am just a political pimp. Most of these guys, you still so they are political pimps. No independence, no integrity. They think running from one radio station, talking about this person, the former president is this, the former government did not do this, and all that kind of thing. You're not being nationalistic. You're only trying to pave your way into a place that will be given you by the current government so that you will be having some money. Expulsion is nothing extra. It's nothing extra. CDC did the right thing. God expelled people. Paul instructed in 1 Corinthians 5 to expel. He said, expel them from your midst. You cannot keep undesirable character. Undesirable character is Satan incarnate. If you continue to keep them in your midst, they will be digging. Before you can realize it, you fall in your pit. They were right. They were right to get them out. And CDC has to do soul searching and soul cleansing. Raid out the bad apples from the good apples so that they cannot contaminate the few good apples. If anybody would think that people, CDC does not have people, you're mistaken. In Liberia, people understand politicians or the ones who talk a lot in the media all of the time, doing Facebook, podcast, and all the kind of things. Once you're not loud muffing, they say you are not. They expect that you are loud muff. You are bad muff. You will just do every other thing. You're just in the media. You're in the media almost all the time. Then they consider you as a politician who. But no, you are not. It's not going to affect CDC. It's not the first exposure. Exposure is not used. All of us know what happened. I have Unity Party story. I have an in total of Unity Party story. Oh, why is that to you this morning? The boy expelled Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Not only did they expel Ellen, but they said they used awful words. They insulted Ellen. They said all manner of nasty things against Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. But guess what? Ellen said, no problem. You're expelling me from the party, I'm going. I'll go sit down. They could not take the party anywhere. The party was drowning. They had to go back and beg Ellen to remove the curse. All of these people, they would come back and beg George Weah to remove the curse from on them. They will come back. Unity Party is not safe haven. Unity Party is not heaven. And all of these people, and we're going into 2020 now, let's pray for long life. You will see. Unity Party, die-hard supporters of Unity Party, the grassrooters of Unity Party will never sit down and allow these infiltrated sycophants and ingrates to come and dominate their party and their positions. You will see the fight in Unity Party. You will hear them saying that you left your party, you betrayed CDC, you said all manner of things against George Weah. Then you won't come in our party to do the same thing. You think we don't know your character? The heart God can work. You always see it. It's not going to affect CDC in any given way. They can put them wherever, whether in Grand Jidel, in Pluto, in Bokon Jidel, in Tajikistan. They're not going to influence anything against CDC. No, they're not. And if you get into a place like they send out other men to, I know, working at Grand Jidel College, so you'll be talking more, we are there, we are not there, all that kind of thing there. You know what can happen in such a situation? When you go there, you're talking against the people, against the men. The men support us. They can rise up against you. That's what they tell you. When you have defected, when you are expelled, or when you betrayed, and you are rewarded for betraying, that place they sent you, shut your mouth and don't talk against the former president, because he has loyalists there. And when you attempt to do the same politicking, could rise up against you. And that's why most of these politicians, they don't learn from the guys outside. The expulsion was right. Let's go home. The expulsion was right. It was timely. In my opinion, it was 5,000% right. And CDC needs to weed out. It will never affect. Listen, let me tell you, when you are afraid of losing, you will lose. Don't be afraid of losing people. Don't ever be afraid of losing people. It's just a matter of time before you get the right people come in. You sit down and say it was better to leave. It was better we took such a decision. It is working for former President George Weah's good. It is working for former President George Weah good. It only tells you all of these people, they were not there with their whole mind, body, and soul. They were there for what they can get. And they may get the deputy campaign manager. You know that man budget? You know how much budget that man operating in? That man, y'all could see that man from Liberty Party, that man was nearing Scarlington. That people will be making say, oh, you were doing that. You were not doing nothing with no cameo. It was dry like nobody business. That we are put flesh on that man. God first, we are second. They took that man, they made him deputy spokesperson. You know that man budget? Today, the vibrancy of life that he has, that George Weah. And he turned around, we flipping. What kind of sick offender? God in heaven, he will like that thing. God in heaven, he like it. God second struck you. You know that your heart now with the people again. Just say, my man, I see you. That you're right. You can bind a person to another person. No marriage is binding. No relationship is binding. The man and woman can get married today. The woman can say, I want a relationship. I tell you, I'm going. They go before the law. The law can remove the two of them. No institution. Nothing. It's binding. So don't be there and be flirting. Just say CDC hierarchy, I've decided to leave the party. The time we stay together is okay. I'm moving into a new venture. And here's the last thing. all of you people who have done this, you did not do it to former President George Weah. And that's why former President Weah is calm. He's not troubled. He's not moved. He's not worrying about it. He doesn't make it his subject because it is not a subject for him. He doesn't think about it. He respects people's right. Everybody has the right to do what they can do. People came to CDC. They left CDC before he even left the presidency. People came to him and say, Mr. President, I've decided to leave CDC. He said, well done. I wish you well in your new endeavor. People went and say, I'm leaving your government. He said, I wish you well in your new endeavor. Former President Weah does not impose on people. He does not force people. He respects everybody's right. You do what you find necessary to do. You move forward. Whatever you encounter is unto you. You're listening to him on Sunday. He said nobody should swear for him, swear their life for him. Nobody should do that. And that's true. You can only do that for God. You cannot do that for mortal men. You respect them, let them go. Whatever the decision the party take is 100%, 1,000%, 5,000% right. So here's the last one, then we go. All of these people who have done that. If 2029 was next year, and 2029 is not far again, majority of them will lose their positions. Take it from me. I'm telling you, on this 10th day of February, majority of those people, they will not go back. They would not. They have already created electoral crisis, electoral blockade for themselves. When the people are fixed, they are fixed. Unity Party supporters would never leave their own and go and vote for another person who just came from a former party that they condemn and want to take over. They will not do it. You will see that clash. For seditions, I know they're in a majority. So you just leave it. It is based on that. I said they will not go back. They will not go back. None of those guys can win election on their own. They can never, ever win election on their own. I see former President Weah returns to the presidency 2029. If God permits, we're back tomorrow. The holiday. If God permits, we're back tomorrow with the holiday presentation. Tomorrow is national holiday. At 8 o'clock, the teacher of the land, the light of the nation, the evangelist, Anthony at Law, A.B. William, is in will face the issues. This is how we go home on the show.
Two leaders walking different lives. One leads with love, the other spite. George and Joseph both can stand so clear. One brings hope, one brings fear. Joe's where he rules with gentle hands, lifts the weak and understands. Every soul gets equal chance. Compassion flows in his advance. When the people need him near, he steps down to dry their tears. Plays with kids and helps the old. His warm heart can't be sold. Oh, Joe's where leads with love so true. Every day his care shines through, while the other spreads the pain. Joseph Boca brings the storm and rain.
From the latest news to your favorite tunes, we've got your back morning, night, and afternoon. Join our family, connect with your crew. Kings FM 88.5, just for you.